Welcome to St. Francis College Charter Day. My name is Dr. Jennifer Lancaster, and I have the privilege of serving St. Francis as the Academic Dean and Vice President for Academic Affairs. And I gotta say, today is really my favorite day. I like commencement, it's quite wonderful. But today, when we celebrate the college's charter, when we recognize and celebrate our best and brightest students who not only achieve academically, but who also have given of their time for service. And we also recognize the staff and faculty who have dedicated years of their life to the college. It makes us very cognizant of the Franciscan spirit. Without further ado, to kick off today's program, I'd like to introduce the president of St. Francis College, Dr. Miguel Martinez-Saenz.
So I just want to echo this welcome and just make some kind of brief remarks. I promise they'll be brief. But like Dr. Lancaster, I think these moments are moments that we need to treasure. I think they are some of the most special moments, and while they are celebratory moments, I think they are also moments that provide us an opportunity to reflect on a number of things, and it's a legacy that we have awesome responsibility to uphold as we think about two Franciscan friars coming from Ireland to start a college in Brooklyn. We need to begin to think about how gratitude expresses itself and what that means for us in terms of the responsibility that we've been given. So I ask you, as you think about today, that you think about all the sacrifices that were made to ensure that young and not so young people had an opportunity to do what it is we get to do here. So celebrate, but also reflect, as I like to think when I reflect about moments like these. We think about Martin Luther King Jr. on April 3rd, 1968, telling a congregation full of hopeful people amidst a very difficult situation that he sees the promised land, but he may not get there with us. And I think that spirit is the kind of spirit that must have been in the spirit of our founders who were called by Bishop Lachlan, and they had to have faith in what was unknown. And what they did of themselves and what I ask you to do of yourselves is they demanded the impossible. Could you imagine the folks that would have told them, you can't really go found a college in Brooklyn? You've never been to Brooklyn. And what they did was they ventured on a journey and did what others told them was impossible. So I agree that we need to celebrate you, but I also want to hold you accountable. The world needs you to be leaders in this space. We need more leaders that have moral sensibility. Yeah, intellectual acumen is critical, and we celebrate both. And as Dr. Lancaster said, we're celebrating something fundamentally important, which is service. I believe wholeheartedly that a life of service is the highest calling that we have as human beings. And I urge, especially the young people, for you not to forget that. So let us celebrate your achievements. Let us celebrate your accomplishments. I hope that you reflect on what's possible. And I hope you reflect on the possibility that you, in fact, can be transformative in making the world a better place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Miguel. I'm going to try not to get tired reading the introduction of the next person. This person is a senior majoring in economics and political science. She's the first female to hold the position of student government president and SCOTUS president. She's been involved in various aspects of campus community, from the honors program to student government executive roles, to being a founding member of the Women's Leadership Network and Education Initiative, multiple peer roles, and the list continues. Outside of St. Francis, while maintaining her 4.0 GPA, she has interned at places such as Brooklyn Borough Hall, the Board of Education Retirement Systems, the office of Senator Gillibrand. She also started, in her vast free time, uncovermore.com, a site which highlights travel, fitness, and food in New York City and beyond. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce the president of the Duns Scotus Honor Society, Ariana Sarchatakis.
Dr. Lancaster, thank you for that lovely introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us on this very special day. First of all, I would like to thank President Miguel Martinez-Saenz, Dean Jennifer Lancaster, members of the Board of Trustees and Alumni Board, administration, faculty, honored guests, students, family, and friends for coming together to celebrate the 135th year and the 135th chartering of St. Francis College, an amazing academic institution I've called my second home, and I'm sure I can speak for everyone in this room who feels the same way. Every year at this special event, we celebrate the newest batch of the Duns Scotus inductees. These individuals are some of the most exemplary students and the biggest dreamers that you will come across at our college. Actively involved in student activities while maintaining a minimum 3.7 GPA, candidates are nominated by faculty members, mentors, moderators, coaches, and peers. Our inductees truly exemplify the Franciscan values of service, respect, and humility. They are what it means to be St. Francis. I would also like to take a moment to thank our moderator, Dr. Mather. This group would not be what it is today without your leadership. Thank you for always motivating us to keep the traditions of the society alive. Under your guidance, we were able to continue our work as a team and create a special bond between ourselves. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Dr. Francis Green, a long-term moderator of the Duns Scotus Honor Society. Over the course of the year, our group focused on giving back to our community, and more specifically, the environment. Our members, which are part of various clubs, organizations, and teams on campus, have given back personally every single day. As a team, we partnered with the Student Government Organization to participate in the big event, a campus-wide community service day. Certain members volunteered making sandwiches, but the majority of our Duns Scotus members volunteered at the Elizabeth Street Garden in Soho, Manhattan. The garden, which is nestled in on a busy street corner, is a threat of being sold, and we spent the day learning about the history, the environment, and the impact that we can each make. Our team helped clear the weeds, rake the grass, and collect garbage. We also got extremely lucky that they were filming a Game of Thrones promotion the same time we were volunteering, so we were able to give back, enjoy the nice weather, and bond together. I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our returning members. I would definitely not be able to fulfill my job without their tremendous support. I ask them to please stand and for a round of applause. At this time, I would also like to thank Dana Dorenzo, the current Vice President of the Society, and Quinn Dang, my immediate predecessor of the President of the Society. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the induction of the newest batch of the Duns Scotus Honor Society. Danielle Francavilla, graduating this May with Communication Arts major and a Criminal Justice minor. She is involved on campus by being a news anchor and news director for Tiger TV, co-founder and president of SFC Radio, writer for SFC Today, multimedia journalist doing stories for SFC TV. She is currently a news desk intern for NBC4 New York. She is a founding student and on the student advisory panel for the Women's Leadership Network and a McGuire Scholar. Jessica Colo, graduating this May with a business management major with a concentration in finance, 3.8 GPA. She is a member of the photography club and a member of the African Students Association. She was previously the treasurer of the finance club, former vice president of the African Culture Club, and a member of the dance team. Nicole Madrazo, graduating this May with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. She is a committed student worker in the admissions office, as well as an active member of the Student Ambassador Program. She enjoyed a full-time membership of the Nursing Club. She has hosted open houses, attended many Admitted Students Day, as well as SFC's big events. She's had the pleasure of seeing prospective students filled with excitement to attend SFC. Most importantly, her fortitude as a nursing student granted her the opportunity to intern at Mount Sinai Hospital. Nicosia, graduating this May with an medicine education major with a concentration in social studies. She transferred to SFC in fall 2016 and has been one of the best decisions she has ever made. She is a member of the History Club, the Vice President of SFC's Model United Nations, and the Event Coordinator for the Education Society. She is also a member of the Phi Alpha Theta History Honor Society and Vice President of Kappa Delta Pi Education Honor Society. Kelsey Zerain, graduating this May, is studying nursing. She helped re-establish the nursing club at St. Francis and is a member of the photography club. She enjoys serving her community by volunteering at Bellevue Hospital and Brooklyn Methodist Hospital. Timothy Cesare is part of the class of 2020. He is majoring in communication arts and a minor in business. He is a member of the St. Francis College men's tennis team and the Terrier TV production crew. He currently works as a student assistant for the advancement department at the college. Zoe Felix is currently a junior and majoring in psychology and a communication arts minor. She is extensively involved in campus as a member of the SFC dance team, co-captain, Colorful Souls staff board rep, Psychology Club treasurer, Sci-Fi Honor Society treasurer, SFC radio, student ambassador, Alpha Lambda Delta Honor Society, photography club, student worker for student activities, peer orientation leader, and peer mentor, and has been elected to be the president of the Honor Society. Is currently a junior and majoring in psychology. She is also in the honors program and represents the college at numerous honors conferences. Furthermore, some of her major involvements include being a student ambassador and a member of the psychology and Jewish clubs. She's also a peer mentor in the fall semester and a peer orientation leader over the summer. She has been elected to be the vice president of the Duns Scotus Honor Society next year. Zana Shapiro is currently a junior nursing student in the honors program. Some of her involvements on campus include being a student ambassador, being a participant of the Nursing Christian Fellowship, and a member of the Jewish Club. She is editor-in-chief of the student newspaper SFC Today and the English department's literary magazine, The Montauk. Nicole Talercio, recipient of the Duns Scotus Scholarship, is a nursing major. As an honor student and an endowed scholar, she is involved in many different clubs and organizations on campus. These clubs and positions include Vice President of the Nursing Christian Fellowship, Vice President of Alpha Lambda Delta National Honor Society, and the Treasurer of the Nursing Club. Nicole will hold the position of Co-President of the Nursing Club next year. Nicole also participated in the Healthcare Career Opportunity Program at NYU Langone Medical Center last year and will work there as a student nurse extern for the summer of 2019. With the help of this generous scholarship, Nicole can continue to participate in the community both on campus and beyond, allowing her to better prepare for her postgraduate endeavors. Fatim Dukova, an endowed scholar and honors program scholar, is currently a junior in the BS/MS program for accounting. Fatim is currently elected the treasurer of the Accounting Society, in which she was able to contribute to the club winning the best academic club in the 2018-2019 year. Fatim was inducted into the Accounting Honor Society and won the Emerging Student Leader Award. In addition to being passionate about accounting, Fatima has also stayed true to her ethnic roots, culture, and traditions, as she is the secretary of the Muslim Students Association and an active member of the Albanian Roots Club. Fatima will be entering in the non-for-profit tax group at PKF O'Connor's Days in the summer because, like them, Fatima considers her giving back to the community a high priority. Fatima treats others with honesty, integrity, professionalism, and respect. Maggie Minieri Martini joined the St. Francis College Athletic Department in the fall of 2015. The Associate Athletic Director and Senior Women Administrator for the Terriers is responsible for marketing and promotions of 21 NCAA Division I programs, as well as all ticket sales, student-athlete-driven initiatives, and campus and community engagement. Maggie also oversees the newly re-energized Athletic Communications Department, which has seen an increase in exposure, engagement, and creative concepts within recent months. All of these duties help tell the story of over 300 student-athletes, staff, coaches, and administrators that shape the Terrier Athletic Department and St. Francis College. Maggie has continued to serve on various internal and national committees and is a member of the National Association of Collegiate Marketing Administrators and Women's Leaders in College Sports. Maggie graduated from Canisius College in 2009 with an undergraduate degree in communications and earned her Master's of Science degree in sports administration from the Golden Griffins in 2012. Maggie wants everyone to remember, for it is in giving that we receive. Students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, is a well-known quote often used by Professor John Lombardo. It serves as a fundamental principle that has guided him for the past 10 years at St. Francis College. As a proud member of the Accounting and Business Law Department, he has taught almost every accounting course offered at SFC and has impacted countless students not only in the classroom, but in their professional careers and in life. In addition to his regular teaching schedule, Professor Lombardo is the faculty moderator of the prestigious SFC Accounting Society. He is very active in the school's fundraising activities, most notably serving as a committee member of the Brendan J. Dugan 68 Memorial Golf Outing. Every August, he assists students interested in accounting by hosting an accounting workshop, often referred to as an accounting boot camp. The goal of this workshop is to improve retention by strengthening accounting fundamentals with the hope of increasing successful outcomes for students entering the profession. Professor Lombardo has been honored by the St. Francis College Student Government Association as Moderator of the Year, Faculty Member of the Year, and earlier this month, he received the Franciscan Spirit Award for extraordinary service to the college community and service to others. A certified public accountant for more than 30 years, Professor Lombardo earned his undergraduate degree from Baruch College and master's degree from Wagner College. He began his career as a CPA for the public accounting firm currently known as PwC. After leaving public accounting, he used his background and experience in the family office industry, providing financial and tax consulting services to high net worth individuals and affluent families. Professor Lombardo is a longstanding member of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, as well as the New York State Society of Certified Public Accountants. For the past 30+ years, he owned and operated an accounting and tax practice in the New York City area. He's a proud father, grandfather, and avid golfer, and currently resides in Staten Island. At this time, I invite all members of the Duns Scotus Honor Society, past inductees, and this year's members to please rise. As in Duns Scotus Honors tradition, we will recite the Duns Scotus Pledge together. For those of you in the audience, the pledge is on the screen in front of Founders Hall. For those of you sitting on the dais, a copy has been provided for you. Together we recite. Realizing the aims of Duns Scotus and the responsibility of membership in the society's of responsibility and service to God. Congrats to you all. At this time, I invite the Vice President of the Duns Scotus Honor Society, Dana Dorenzo, to join me for a very special presentation.
Thank you very much, and most importantly, thank you for your leadership as the president of our society. Again, I'm Dana Dorenzo. I'm currently the vice president of Duns Scotus Honor Society. I'm now a former member and co-captain of the women's basketball team, and will be graduating in May with my bachelor's and master's degree in accounting. Thank you all for being here today. So this scholarship has been made possible thanks to two St. Francis College alums, Albert G. Dumar and James I. Concal, both from the class of 1957. They continually honor their lifelong pledge to Duns Scotus and have taken the initiative to establish and grow this enduring educational legacy. The Duns Scotus Scholarship, established 11 years ago, will benefit the college for generations to come. Dr. Mather. At this time, I'd like to invite Dr. Mather on stage to present the Duns Scotus Scholarship to this year's recipient, the President-elect of both the Student Government Association and the Duns Scotus Honor Society, Nicole Talercio, class of 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Conco and Mr. Dumar. It is a true honor to be chosen for this award as following Ariana's footsteps. Your support and generosity to both St. Francis College and to myself is greatly appreciated and admirable. I look forward to one day giving future Duns Scotus students the same amazing opportunity that you have given me here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ariana, Dana, and Nicole. Thank you. Thank you. Let's give everyone all the honorees so far another round of applause. And I invite our newly inducted Duns Scotus members who are holding these big plaques on your laps. If you want to stack them here on the table back, you can go ahead and do that now. No, we're going to hold on? Okay. It is now my pleasure to introduce Lorraine M. Lynch, St. Francis College class of 1991, manager, senior vice president, finance, business partnering at National Grid.
President Miguel, members of the board, faculty, students, family, and friends. It's such a privilege and an honor to be here today representing National Grid and the partnership that National Grid and St. Francis College have together. This is our 13th year, actually, awarding internship scholarships to students at the college. And it goes to the longstanding relationship that we have. Including myself, we have over 100 alumni at the company that have come through the doors of the company from the college. And so it's a privilege and an honor to have 4 students as recipients to scholarships this year. Our first recipient is Nirma Kolenovic, who's receiving the National Grid Scholarship Internship Award. Congratulations, Norma. Our next recipient is Pavle Shred-Ovik. Pavle, Dr. Horlick, if you'd like to come up and join for the Dr. Horlick National Grid Internship Scholarship Award. Congratulations, Pavle. Our next recipient is Louis Falco, a recipient of the Peggy Smith National Grid Scholarship Internship Award. Sierra Asenko. Sierra? Congratulations, Sierra.
Thank you, Lorraine, and congratulations to the newest St. Francis College winners of the National Grid Internship and Scholarship. At this time, we will recognize academic award recipients for the graduating class of 2019. These awards are selected by the faculty in the departments from which they come, and they represent the faculty's ideas about the very best students in these disciplines. So you'll hear some names more than once, possibly. You might have heard them already, but if you would, students receiving awards, please stand up and make a nice line over here. Stand up, come this way. I can't promise that you're in any particular order, so when you hear your name called, just come forward. Recipient of Academic Excellence Award in Accounting, bachelor's degree, Queen Deng. I'm sorry, I can't do them all twice though, Dana, okay? The recipient of the Academic Excellence Award in Accounting for the Bachelor and Master of Science degree, Dana Dorenzo. The Archbishop Thomas E. Malloy Award for Catholic Accountants Guild, Clifford Hall. The recipient of the Academic Excellence Award in Accounting for the Master of Science degree, Dylan Johan. The recipient of the Academic Excellence and Service Award in Accounting, Patrick McDermott. For Women in Accounting, Amelia Masovich. The Management and IT Department present the following awards. The Award for Excellence in Information Technology, Maria Pallarino. The Brother Urban Ganud Memorial Person Business Management, Alejandro Ruggiero. From the Division of Science, Math, and Health Promotion, for academic excellence in the Melissa Sanchez Memorial Purse in Health Promotion, Mariba St. Bernard. The Dr. Stanley S. Willing Award, established by David Haverty, class of '81, and Noel Amato. The Brother Jerome Rose Memorial Medal for Excellence in Biology, Brianna Chandler. The Irving L. Gelfand Medal for Healthcare Management, Janine Messina. The Nursing Leadership Award, Kelsey Serenge. From the Division of Humanities, the Brother Camillus Memorial Award for Excellence in International Cultural Studies, Kaylin Adesano. The Thomas J. Cute Senior Excellence in Communication, Amal Hawari. The Francisca X. Slade Medal for Excellence in Philosophy, Antonio Mendez. The Brother Celestin McGarry Memorial Person English, Carolyn Mullins. The Division of Social Science presents the following awards. The Medal for Excellence in Education, Laura Giordano. The Uwe P. Gielen Award for Excellence in Psychology, Amanda Neal. Academic Medal for Excellence in Political Science, Christopher Ortiz. The John C. Gorman Class of '38 Medal for Excellence in History, George Prezizozo. Recipient of the Gerald F. Doyle Memorial Award in Economics, Ariana Sargitakis. The recipient of the Dr. Louis H. Primavera Medal in Psychology, Danielle Silvera. Congratulations to all the academic excellence winners. We're going to be a little bit angry. Now I'm going to invite our speaker, our president, Dr. Miguel Martinez Saenz, to introduce our keynote speaker, John Sexton.
John says he's ready. I told him we'll be the judge of that. So, an informal introduction for somebody who I've had the great pleasure of knowing. I guess we're going on 15 months or something. So a couple of things that are just curiosities, the way the world works. So John Sexton went to St. Brendan High School in Brooklyn, is that right? No. Oh, you taught us St. Brendan? Oh, that's right. I know, because wanted you to stay in the right space and you moved out of the wrong space. But since he taught us St. Brendan's, I went to St. Brendan's in Miami, a little bit further away. But also, some of you will see the bio. He taught at St. Francis College. That was his first career before he went out to Harvard to do his JD, and where people sometimes recognize him, the work he did, not only in the legal community, but as his work as a professor, his work as dean at NYU Law, and then his work as the president. And I'll just tell you very, very briefly, one of the things that I find quite powerful, and you'll see it in the book, if you take a look at it, and I recommend you take a look at his latest book. I had an opportunity to read The Galleys, and one of the things that is remarkable, why I'm so proud to have him here today, is his focus on educators. And so he starts off with a reflection on a teacher that made a difference, on Charlie, and I just quote, he says, "The person whom I first met as I entered an extraordinary Jesuit high school in Brooklyn, where he, fresh from doctoral studies in Columbia, was teaching." And as John points out, like all great teachers, Charlie knew his students. I think this is the testament to what it means to think of yourself as an educator. You put the educators front and center. And I'll just say one of the things that I had an opportunity to see when I was with John last fall, when I had first come to Brooklyn, was seeing him interact still with his students. Seeing the students still come into the space and feel like that's the space that they want to be in. And for me, I knew at that moment, right, that this was a true educator. And critically important when he was teaching his young people was a whole lot of things when they were in law school. If he was doing procedures, it's fine, but he was also teaching them what it meant to be a human being. He was forcing them to ask the kind of existential questions that we should always be challenging ourselves to ask. And for that, I have I have a deep respect for John, and I have been honored and humbled to have developed a relationship with him. So for this reason, as he prepares to give us some remarks, we want to honor him with the St. Clair Medal for Distinguished Service. And just to give you kind of sense, this is a quote from Pope Francis that I think embodies the award and embodies John Sexton. He gave this in a remark for migrants and refugees, and he says this: every human being is a child of God. He or she bears the image of Christ. We ourselves need to see and then enable others to see. People among us, including migrants and refugees, they don't only represent a problem to be solved, but our brothers and sisters to be welcomed, respected, and loved. I think John Sexton is an embodiment of challenging us all to see our brothers and sisters as those that we need to respect and love. So for that, we give you the award, John Sexton.
Well, this is a real honor for me. I want to thank Miguel, I want to thank St. Francis College. I want to thank you folks for tolerating having me here. This is your day. I was in the religion department here for 10 years, from 1965 to 1975. This building had not been built yet. I watched the steel go up from the window of my office, which was up on the 4th floor, but it was the only building then. It was a room like this, however, where I used to teach my classes. Religion was required, and I had the joy of teaching virtually every student in the school in those days. But I never would have been allowed as a student into something as august as this ceremony. If you do pick up my latest book, which came out last week, it's called Standing for Reason, the University in a Dogmatic Age. And I'm not trying to sell it, all the money goes to financial aid for students. But if you do pick it up, you'll see in there that I say I had a 2.1 college grade point average, so I would not have been eligible for the Duns Scotus. My children brought my transcript to college with them, and they would read my grades each semester as they recorded their grades. They read my grades first, and inevitably their grades were higher. But through a wonderful pathway, I ended up being nurtured here, and then being nurtured by others, and building on what Charlie impelled us to do, which was to see education and knowledge as the core values. I'm in a way a bridge between two Brooklyns, and for me today, and returning to St. Francis, although I've been involved over the years, is a bridge between two Brooklyns, and if it's a bridge between two Brooklyns, it's a bridge between two St. Francises. I can remember a Brooklyn where, at a great Jesuit high school, Brooklyn Prep, a great man who would go on to lead the anti-war movement. This was not a retrograde that I'm going to describe to you. You could Google him if you haven't heard of him. His name was Daniel Berrigan. He was a leader of the peace movement in the 60s. But in a classroom not far from here, down at Nostrum and Carroll, in 1956, Danny Berrigan wrote on the blackboard the words, "Extra ecclesia nulla salus." Outside the church, there's no salvation. And I remember going up to him after class and saying, "Father Berrigan, does that mean that my best friend Jerry Epstein can't get to heaven?" And Danny Berrigan said to me, "If you don't baptize him, he won't get to heaven." Now just think about that for a second, and don't think of it as something that was unique to Brooklyn Irish Catholicism or to Catholicism. Each religion has this kind of triumphalism tucked into it. But that was the Brooklyn of the 1950s in which I was formed and sent off to college. Danny Berger would never say that today. Just last year I was in Rome for a meeting of 25 leaders of 25 faith traditions talking about how each faith enriched the other. It was quite 180 degrees different, 180 degrees different from extra ecclesia nulla salus. Interestingly, if you look at that 60-year arc from 1956, say to 2016, and you see the wonderful openness. It was prompted by people like Pope John the 23rd, now Pope Francis, the great theologian Teilhard de Chardin. A tremendous movement, as Martin Luther King says, in the direction of justice and enlightenment. If you trace that same 60-year arc, now go back to 1956, when my father was the head of the Jefferson Democratic Club. He was the Democratic king of Brooklyn. But he worked with everybody and for everybody. Every human being in the borough was his constituent. Everybody's snow had to be cleared. Everybody's garbage had to be picked up. Everybody had to have a meal 3 times a day. People had to be able to get to work and have a reasonable wage. And that was his object. And he dealt with Republicans and independents and communists and whomever just to get the job done. That was 1956. And today, of course, it's no longer that way. Today, we have politics by revelation, not by reason. Our political views come to us the way our religious views then came to us from Rome. They come ex cathedra, they come from on high, and we no more can discuss political views across the chasm of difference than I could discuss the virgin birth with Jerry Epstein back in 1956. And the data supports this. It's striking. In 1956, 3% of Americans, 3% of Americans told pollsters that they would be upset if somebody in their family married somebody from the other political party. Today that number is 40%. 40% of Americans would be upset if somebody in their family married somebody from the other political party. That's higher than race, it's higher than religion, it's higher than ethnicity. This is a moral and intellectual outrage. And just as we moved from the secular dogmatism that permeated Brooklyn and this place in the 1950s when Daniel Berrigan said that, so it's just as we moved from that dogmatism to the ecumenism of Rome and the Vatican Council, and then later in the meetings that I've attended with faith leaders, we have to do the same thing in our politics. Now here I want to just take a different angle. So just draw, okay, I did a double line, and here I'm going to come at this at a bit of a different angle and then pull it all together. So, you know, I'm old, and NYU has done some great things, and I got to tell the story. So every now and then I get awards, and I was in Scotland. It's 3 years ago now, and they were giving me an award, and it was in the cathedral, and there were, you know, a whole cathedral full of people there, and people dressed up like this, and they had this guy they called the crier. The crier got up and in this beautiful baritone, Scottish, you know, mellifluous, he gave like a 15-minute speech, you know, about the honorant, you know, I'm sitting there, the honorant, and he's talking, and it was like poetry, it was unbelievable. And I got up and I said, looked out at this crowd, I was shaking. The guy had said so many nice things, I'm shaking. And I looked out and I said, okay, everybody take out your cell phones, please. So about half people did because they figured they had already turned them off. And I said, no, everybody. And I said, turn them on, please. They were puzzled by that. I said, turn them on and put on the record function. Because now you're going to hear English spoken the right way. And I you know, it was wonderful to talk beforehand to some of my students and have them say T-A-L-K with a W, talk, and coffee. And my wife's name is Lisa. You know, we know how, you know. So then about 3 weeks after that, I'm driving out from NYU to Gargiulo's Italian restaurant. You know, I'm going to talk to the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. And I'm thinking, listen, you know, the one thing I got is my opening. Right? I'm going to tell them about Scotland. Now, I get there, and it was wonderful. There were only about 1 person in 5 in that room spoke the way I do. I heard the Caribbean, I heard Eastern Europe, I heard South Asia. I mean, it was, Brooklyn is not the Brooklyn that it was. Brooklyn, do you know that in our city, every country in the world is represented in a neighborhood by people that were born in that country? So you get on the subway, you can hear the language, the music, you can taste the food of any country in the world. And listen, I just want to tell you something. I leaned over to Miguel as the Duns Scotus people being announced. I said to him, thank God we went co-ed. I mean, I don't know who the hell you are. You should just stand up. This is like the luckiest guy in the world. The bonding of the Duns Scotus Society next year. But this is, that's not the only way in which, just as Brooklyn is a different Brooklyn today, St. Francis College is a different Brooklyn. I mean, look at the wonder of this. And you know what's really great, and this is true of our city, and I bet you it's true here, but I just want to give you a little, a fact about our city that connects, and I'll tie all this together. New York City is the first city in the world that is a neighborhood for every country in the world, inhabited by people who were born in that country. 40% of our city was born outside the United States. But the interesting thing is that you go to those neighborhoods, and unlike London or some of the European capitals that are wrestling, right? Now I'm not saying New York is perfect by any means, but the one thing is you go to those places and you say to people, what are you? And they'll say, I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker. In other words, they not only see themselves in their community, and they've got all the great heritage that comes from being in that community, from the old country and as it presents here, but they see themselves in a larger whole, like the elements of a watch that connect, and they're each identifiable, but the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. We're the first, in a secular sense now, I'm not talking theologically here, in a secular sense, we're the first, Brooklyn is the first, St. Francis College is a manifestation of the first guard of being a community of communities. And you know, the world's miniaturizing. And the nature of the world and its roundness is such that, and I'm not just talking economically, I'm talking about in every sense. The phrase, no person is an island, is more powerful today than it's ever been. And you can pretend, you can go into a cave and pretend you've separated yourself. Or out of fear, you can build walls between the neighborhoods of Brooklyn or New York or countries or whatever you want. But the fact of the matter is that the only way to have the world of which we dreamed and those that created us and sent us forward on a mission dreamed is bridges, not walls. and open bridges, not walls. And it's really important that you take that spirit of this place, St. Francis College, Brooklyn, and New York City, and we bring that to the secular sphere. I used to teach, as I say, in a predecessor room like this, religion, and introduce to the curriculum here some of the thinking of Terra de Jardin about the need to do that in a religious sphere, the need to move away from what Danny Barrigan said in that classroom in 1956 in Brooklyn. But I was talking theology, but what strikes me now is we're kind of past that, and we're to the point where now we have to do this as citizens of the world. And each of you today that's been honored, either in a discipline or in the Duns Scotus Society or whatever, each of you that has gotten into this place where I as a student would not have been. Let me tell you something, whether you call it grace or a blessing or luck or biology, you won a lottery. You had nothing to do with winning it. Okay, you were born smart. Think about that just for a second. You had nothing to do with that. You could have been born dumb. Okay, you were born smart. Now, you're going to live on average into 3 digits. So you're roughly 20% of the way, and the first 10 years don't really count. Other people are molding you. So you're a tiny bit of the way down the journey of taking that fact that you were born smart and in living it well. Right? You're shaping your future. You're shaping what you're going to do in the world. In a life that hopefully will be joyful and fulfilling for you, but also useful for humankind. Take, if you want to call it ecumenism, if you want a fancy word for it, secular ecumenism. Take ecumenism, the ecumenism that's in the spirit of this place. Take it out there. Build a world that's a community of communities. That's the global equivalent of a watch. God bless you and good luck.
Thank you so very much. One round of applause again for Mr. John. It is now time for the presentation of the St. Francis College Entrepreneurship Award. Please welcome Mr. Lou Pastina, class of 1979, chair of the St. Francis College of
Thank you very much. Who thought it was a good idea to have Lou Pastina follow John Sexton? I don't know about you, but when I go home, my wife asks me, how did it go? I'm going to say, well, John Sexton was my opening act. Thank you, and before I get into the award piece, I just want to say a little bit about the entrepreneurship program here at St. Francis. It's relatively young, and it's come a long way in a very short period of time. And it's come a long way because of the very dedicated staff and professors and teachers who've been involved. Visionary leadership that's been shown at St. Francis to put an entrepreneurship program in place. The passionate students who really get behind it and make it real. And their success has really bred even more success. So really a round of applause for them. It's my privilege to introduce you to 2 of the honorees. And the first one is Michael Quinn. And John was talking a little bit about Brooklyn. Brooklyn, and I just recently met Michael. I met his parents today. And the thing that struck me about Michael was he was the son of Brooklyn. He was Zavarian High School, St. Francis College, LIU, and then he did something crazy, which I thought was terrific. He built a business giving tours in Coney Island. And I thought that was unbelievable, and I'm definitely going to take one of those tours. But then he did something even crazier, which was to be entrepreneurial by starting a new business venture selling hot dogs. And not just any hot dogs, but like the very first hot dog that was ever brought to the US in Coney Island, Feltman's hot dogs. And if you think Nathan's is the one that started the hot dog business, you're wrong. Nathan guy actually got it from Feltman's. And so he has reimagined the brand and relaunched it in a way that's really kind of exciting. And so I think that's really terrific. You know, he is an actor, a teacher, historian, and now entrepreneur. And I think those are pretty amazing things. And he also is giving his time back. He's sharing those experiences with students here at St. Francis in a way that I think helps to ignite passion. And so for them to look at someone and say, hey, here's a guy who was a communications major, and he's lived this unbelievable life, and now he's an entrepreneur. I can do that too. I think that's a terrific thing. And it really makes, for me, real the notion that this small college really is a place of very big dreams. So with that, I give you Michael Quinn.
I'd like to thank the Academy. Got a lot of flowers here. Before I begin, before I thank anyone, first people I'd like to thank are my parents who are here this evening, because without their support, I wouldn't have been successful at St. Francis College in business and in life in general. So thank you very much, and it's great to have them here this evening. In this very room, this is where I learned how to command the stage. I was a member of the Troopers. I spent hours in this room, hours. And not only did I spend hours rehearsing, we were the stage crew. There was no stage crew. So we had to build the stage. We had to paint the stage. And I remember opening night, I had a lead role in a play called Butterflies Are Free. And I played a blind boy, 80 pages of dialogue. And coming on the stage, my feet were sticking to the stage because the paint was still wet. And you could hear it, and I was scantily clad, I might add. But after that experience, I felt I can handle anything after that. But I was a communications major here. I started off as a business major for about an afternoon, but I did take other courses in business. And this is really where I found myself at St. Francis College. I came into my own here. And for me, it wasn't about a particular class. It was about the entire experience, being part of the Troopers, you know, taking classes in theater and public relations and business and things like that. Thank you so much to Lou for introducing me, and I also want to thank the community, the faculty here. Bringing this brand back, and I'd be foolish not to promote my brand here. This is the perfect opportunity. A little history, our founder was a guy by the name of Charles Feltman. Now, he arrived in Brooklyn at 14 years old in New York in 1856. 14 years old. The first year, he nearly starved to death. He got a job working, delivering coal. Eventually, he decided he wanted to become a baker, so he had his first job, this is before the Civil War, on Smith Street, just a few blocks from here, as an apprentice baker. He was married around 1860, a few blocks from Henry Street, at the Zion Lutheran Church. So then he decides that, after visiting Coney Island, that he wanted to sell his baked goods, pastries, pies, and things like that, to Coney Island, to the people, the businesses down there. But people don't want pie, it's sticky, right? You need a knife and a fork. So he goes to his friend Donovan on Howard Avenue, who made his pie cart, and he says, and Donovan looks at him and he goes, wait a second, you want to do what? You want to make a bun that's U-shaped, and you want a grill installed here? And he said, that's correct. He said, that's the craziest idea I've ever heard in my life. The summer of 1867, he sold 4,000 of what he called Coney Island Red Hots. Now, other people, unsure of this mystery foreign meat, used the slang term, the hot dog. Inventing the hot dog wasn't enough for Charles Feltman. He also had to own the largest restaurant in the world, which he did in 1871. His restaurant was 2 city blocks long in Coney Island. He had 600 waiters, nearly 2,000 employees, and he could serve 10,000 people at once. In 1915, the Feltmans hired 2 aspiring actors who were singing waiters in the German beer garden. They went by the name of Jimmy Durante and Eddie Cantor. They met a Polish immigrant just as motivated and determined as Charles Feltman by the name of Nathan Handwerker. Durante and Cantor gave Handwerker a loan of $300 to leave his job at Feltman's to go down the block to open up his own hot dog stand called Nathan's Famous, and he did all right with that. So anyway, I decided, as a Coney Island historian, I wanted to bring back a piece of Brooklyn Coney Island history. And I figured, you know what? It's a lot easier bringing back a hot dog than it is a roller coaster or the world's first amusement park. So I started very small, little pop-up events, a little takeout window on St. Mark's Place. And then it just snowballed from there. And at this point, we're currently in 1,500 supermarkets from here to California. So, and that same determination that Charles Feldman had and Nathan Handwerker had, I have. And that determination started right here on the campus of St. Francis College. And I don't know how the weekend's going to be as far as the weather, but I encourage everyone, when you leave here today, to go to your nearest supermarket and pick up a pack of Feldman's of Coney Island hot dogs. We ship nationwide too. Go to feldmansofconeyisland.com. It's all beef, no nitrates, it's healthy for you. And I know that hot dogs have been under attack the past week by the nanny state, but I encourage you, only buy Feldman's hot dogs. It's a wonderful trick-or-treat gift. We're on Amazon.com too. And again, ship them nationwide. So I just highly encourage you. And if the supermarket doesn't carry it, please encourage them to carry my hot dog brand. So, being a true salesman. But anyway, I want to thank you so much for inviting me and this award here. And I encourage everyone here, the theme of my speech here is determination. You know, determination. Be determined. There's going to be obstacles in your way. And basically be a full-rounded human being. Learn as much as you can. Learn from mistakes. And always stay focused and determined. Thank you very much.
Our second honoree, that's an award that's made possible by Joe and Mary Ellen Giordano. They can be here today, but they asked me to say congratulations to you, and they're very happy to be involved in the entrepreneurship program here. The award goes to the president of the Entrepreneurship Club and the 2017 pitch contest winner, Sydney Bell.
Congratulations, Mr. Quinn, and congratulations, Sydney Bell. At this time, we will present our college honors to those employees who have completed 15, 25, or more dedicated years of service to our community. The first set of recipients will receive the Pax Bonum Award, Medal for Service for 15 years. Instituted by the Board of Trustees and named for one of the earliest greetings of St. Francis of Assisi, this medal recognizes and honors those members of the faculty who have completed 15 years of dedicated service, loyal, preeminent, a different sentence now, service to the college, a driving force in the life of St. Francis of Assisi and his followers. Peace and goodness is the expression that we use as Franciscan educators. The bestowal of this Medal of Franciscan Education represents the highest praise and tribute of the St. Francis College community and ensures our continuing extension of peace and goodness at the college. For 25 years of dedicated service as a faculty member, though she could not be here, Sharon Bourgeois, Senior Adjunct Lecturer, Psychology Department, and St. Francis Class of 1983. Also for 25 years of service as a faculty member, James Paguga, Senior Adjunct Lecturer and Managing Department of For 15 years of service as a faculty member, from the nursing department, Assistant Professor Anne Beauvais. From the history department, Senior Adjunct Lecturer Jeffrey Clement. From the Information Technology Department, Professor Barbara Eddington. From the Fine Arts Department, Senior Adjunct Lecturer Michael Fontana. From the Sociology and Criminal Justice Department, Senior Adjunct Lecturer Margaret Fox. From the Mathematics Department, Narula Harab. And though not able to be present today, also 15 years of service from the Sociology and Criminal Justice Department, Professor Emily Horowitz. The second set of recipients received the President's Award, which was instituted in 1972 to honor non-instructional personnel. The award recognizes dedicated, loyal, and preeminent service by members of the administration and staff who have served 15 years or 25 years of dedicated service at the college. The bestowal of this award acknowledges and pays tribute to the significant contributions that non-instructional personnel make to St. Francis. The President's Award is the highest service honor the administration and staff members can receive. And it comes with our grateful appreciation. This year, surprisingly, there are no 25-year recipients. But for 15 years of dedicated service to St. Francis College, Mr. Fenelon. And the Associate Director of Human Resources, St. Francis College Class of 2002, Ms. Yadira Moran. We have come to the end of our program. Aren't you glad you're not holding those big things anymore? Just a few announcements before we end and complete our benediction and the singing of our alma mater. The stage party will recess with members of the Duns Scotus Honor Society. The award recipients and the graduation recipients should remain here in Founders Hall. You're not allowed to leave just yet. That includes service award winners on the stage. You will stay behind for lots of photos and pictures. While they're doing that, those of you who are not interested in taking photos or want to take their photo and then leave, we welcome you to the cafeteria for refreshments and also the opportunity to have your books signed by our speaker, John Sexton. The choir is performing this evening at their spring concert in the Maroney Theater at 6 p.m. The Maroney Theater is located on the 7th floor. The performance is free and all are welcome. At this time, I introduce, please, Brother Clement to offer the benediction.
Let us pray. O Lord, author of all life, from whom all goodness originates, bless all here gathered on this Charter Day. We pray that you will guard, guide, and protect our students, scholars, and dedicated faculty and staff being recognized today for their scholarly achievements and long service to St. Francis College. We pray that through the ineffable workings of your Holy Spirit, that each of us may be better able to discern your most holy will as it unfolds and makes itself manifest in our lives and our world. And that with your grace, we may have the fortitude and the courage to carry it out. Amen.
Amen.